Hi guys, I got a, as the title says, this is a wrestling game list or whatever. It's something that a friend and I started doing while watching Impact because, it is pretty hard for me to watch. But then, every wrestling show is hard for me to watch. Some, even ROH shows, everyone's like, oh, it's so good. I get bored halfway through. I have a very short attention span. This happens to me. So, invented a game to keep my interest in, and it's related to what's happening. And basically, you're taking the number down of how many things happen, and you start to know some pretty funny things when you do it. And it also does reflect the product, so you get a new perspective. You can all do it. I'll probably be doing a video of a list of recurring things that happen in each episode of Raw, SmackDown, ECW, and Impact. But I only started doing it with Impact, and this is from this week's Impact. So, and this was a pretty good episode, I'll say, for wrestling wise. So, I'll just give you the things. Number one thing that we're counting. We're counting. You can do your own things. I don't care. With Raw and SmackDown, you couldn't do some of these things because it's exclusive to TNA. Counted the segments that happened because one of the things I'm always complaining about is they're always cutting from thing to thing to thing and to thing, and it's just fucking crazy. And what I mean by segment is every time you'll see a video package and it'll go back to March 9 and Don West, and it'll go to another video package. That's 3 segments. So I don't know if that's the actual definition of segment, but that's just the way I do it. That's the way I'm counting it. Whether it is or it isn't, it's a pretty crazy number. It's 32 I counted. Then we have name drops, and name drops is when you drop the name of WCW, ECW, any dead promotion or any other promotion. Or if you say Japan, to make your wrestlers sound important because they're wrestling in Japan, when you say the name of an upcoming pay-per-view or a past pay-per-view or the network you're on, which is Spike TV. Not that's on Impact because you understand that's the show that they're on, so it would be crazy to do that. Impact, and if it was on Sacrifice, then you wouldn't count them saying Sacrifice. But because they've been saying Sacrifice so much, because that's a theme, and it's so fucking stupid, the whole theme thing, I had to count them. And they said, they dropped about 10 of there's 65 drops here, and 55 of those were them saying Sacrifice. They said Sacrifice 55 times in 84 minutes. That's pretty crazy shit, people. Anyway, I'll get on to the next thing. I also do quote of the night and moment of the night, but I'll get to that in a minute. And this is sort of a review for me of these shows because I don't really review weekly shows, but this is the closest thing you'll get. Mike Tenay said "to the back" 5 times. Some of you will get that, some of you won't. Next was how many matches there were. There were 4. We also had got a message. There were 4 matches, and you divide that into how many were clean and how many weren't. We had 3 clean finishes and 1 not so clean, so 25% of matches that night ended fucked up. Then we go back to the announcers, and how many times they started discussing something that wasn't related to the match. I counted 22 times when they were talking about TNA Mobile, another match, something else, Joe versus Angle. They only did it once during the main event, which was a good thing, I'll say. But still, it was pretty funny because you think, because the first match of the night, what was it, Relic and Black Rain versus some losers, somebody else, I can't remember their name now. And it took them about 4 minutes to start talking about the match, and whenever you thought they would, they didn't. The number of depressed personalities, that was another thing we were counting. Whenever you see someone who you perceive as being depressed, you put a line there. We counted 7 depressed personalities. Jim Cornette being great, we counted that 5 times. He said 5 amazing things. And then the last one is suicide-inducing moment. I counted 23 for myself. As I said, this wasn't a bad episode of Impact. Trust me, some ROH DVDs for me want to kill myself more than that. Just because when you get to the 40th Briscoe move of the match, and it's coming on the 55th minute of it, and you still haven't seen and you've seen 80 near falls, you sort of get tired and want to kill yourself because you just want the match to end. I don't think I've seen a Briscoes match in the past year which went for under 15 minutes. You don't have to overdo it every time. Anyway, quote of the week. I'm sorry, I'm still finding this hilarious because I laughed for about 15 minutes when I heard this. As long as there is a Joe and Angle, there is no Kurt and Karen. That's what Kurt Angle said. That's pretty gay. I have nothing against gay people. It's just, that was a pretty gay thing to say. And the moment of the night was Joe running like a girl. If you know what I'm talking about, you probably found it funny. It was during the Joe vs Angle match. Would have been about 5 minutes in. Kurt Angle Irish whips Joe, and Joe was running, flailing his arms like that, running forward into the ropes. And I laughed for about 10 minutes. I think I missed some name drops. Anyway, none of you will probably find it very amusing, nor will you do it, but I'm just saying this is probably something I'm going to do, so get used to it. And it'll also tell you how... It's also a good observation of the show to see how they sort of structure it. Like, maybe SmackDown and Raw have a lot less segments than TNA, and less name drops and shit like that. What else? Oh yeah, I'm having trouble accessing my messages on YouTube, so if I haven't replied to them, it's because I can't open them. I'm going to my thing, and it's only showing messages that I've already received, that I've already opened and replied to. It's not showing me the messages that, because I get emails from YouTube saying you've gotten messages from so-and-so. So if I'm not replying, it's not because I'm ignoring you, it's because I can't. I try to make a habit of replying to every message I get, I don't want people to feel left out. So it's that. I've been meaning to do a couple of videos. I'm probably going to start reviewing some wrestling games, actually, because there was a user who asked if I could speak more about SmackDown vs. Raw 2008 on Wii, and I thought, well, there's not really much else I can say about it, because there isn't a lot of depth to that game, so I think I'll speak about some older wrestling games, such as WCW vs. NWO World Tour, WCW NWO Revenge, No Mercy, maybe some of the Acclaim WWF games such as Warzone and Attitude, and maybe some of the ECW games which came out on Nintendo 64, if I can get a hand on the copies. And if I'll review some Japanese wrestling games if I can get a copy that will work in my Nintendo 64. It's hard to get them here in Australia, so yeah. Anyway, thank you and bye.